Hi Scorpio, this is your forecast for the month of July 2016. This is a general reading for Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, or Scorpio Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited the site before, you will need to clear your browser's cache for the schedule button to function properly. So Scorpio, the first week of July begins with the Six of Cups. And this card actually has a very strong tie to Scorpio. So this could be a week where you're really thinking about the past. Maybe you're going over things. You're looking at what your situation is. You're taking stock of how far you've come. Maybe you're looking at what you've been given. There's a sense of gratitude because you know that you've been blessed. And it could be that this week some situations come up where you actually feel appreciated, where maybe that's been lacking for you in the past. It could be that you get an opportunity to show your appreciation, or you receive that from someone. But whatever good you have done in the past, even if you hadn't given it any other thought up until now, it's possible that that could bear some fruit for you right now. Also this week, you could be very intuitive, and you're already a very strongly intuitive sign. And so you could have several situations that come up that are almost uncanny, where you're like, wow, I was so right. It's almost scary. Be careful. Not be careful, but be on the lookout for messages in your dreams, because those could be very strong for you this week. Because this card is very concerned with karmic ties, connections, it could be that you run into somebody or you hear from somebody that you knew from your past. Doorways could be opening. Opportunities that you thought were lost start to show up for you again. Now, it's just as likely, though, that something you did in the past, some kind of indiscretion, something that you kind of swept under the rug, could show up right now. Now, this could be as something like the form of not taking care of something that you should have, something that you knew you should have addressed, but you let it slide. Maybe you didn't pay attention to a bill. Maybe, you didn't pay attention to a health issue. Something that you overlooked can now show up to your disadvantage. And it's possible, because this is a card of prior connections, maybe you come in contact with someone that you really were hoping you didn't ever see again. So this could be, again, a week of the past, renewing old ties, maybe getting in touch with old friends, going over old memories. Could be some dealings with your children, because this card ties to children. People that you feel are like family. Things that connect to your childhood and sentimentality could be important for you this week. Now, the second week, you have the Five of Swords. And so this could be a week where there are some sort of treacherous situations going on. Maybe there's some disputes or some plotting behind the scenes, or maybe someone's trying to overpower with their intellectual capabilities or their thoughts or their ideas, feelings of not being listened to, or, having the last word, but not really winning, anything because of it. A lot of negative energy and feeling as if you're up against no-win situations. There could be some insensitivity or some manipulation going on, but definitely some destructive behaviors. So this is a week where you're going to be very aware of pushing that envelope, stepping outside of the boundary and pushing too hard. So you're conscious of other people. So even if you're in a situation where maybe you feel some inner anger or some frustration, you're going to be very aware of how far to go with it. Some of you, this frustration is going to push you to go ahead and take care of something, and maybe that something has to do with the past. So make sure that you don't allow your impatience or feeling too cocky about a situation and having that push you in ways where you take some unnecessary or some foolish risks. But the positive is that this is a week where something has to be dealt with. You know this. You're at critical mass, and you're going to if you've hesitated in the past or you had doubts about moving forward, that maybe there was something on your mind, something that was eating at the back of you, at the back of your thoughts. This is a week where you're going to go ahead and move on that and address it, and you're going to feel better because you did. Now, it's possible that, again, maybe you were not paying attention to something. You just took it for granted, whether that's a situation, you let something get out of hand, your dealings with other people, your health, anything that you haven't been paying attention to, that you let slide under the radar. This could be a week where it just comes back and you get a strong reality check that could be embarrassing or hurtful or wound your pride in some way. So be careful of taking risk, whether that's whatever kind of risk that is, especially physical risks. So be careful of your health and paying attention to getting an accurate diagnosis, because maybe you have something, an ailment or an illness that pops up this week that you can't quite pinpoint the root of it. And being distracted or annoyed could create some misunderstandings with other people or even some kind of an accident. This could be a week where you are having to deal with people who are bullying or troublemakers, and maybe you're having to stand firm and actually operate looking out for self, acting in your own self-interest. Now, the third week of July, you have a major card. It's an important week. So this card is saying perhaps that you come in contact with someone who is a healer or protecting in some way, but it's telling you to be moderate in your approach. Have some prudence, some self-restraint. You may be trying to take situations where there are factors at odds and trying to find the right mix. So this could be a week of compromise, being moderate in your approach. And you may have to sit down with someone and have a truthful discussion where even if that person doesn't agree with your point of view, this is going to allow you to just move forward without jeopardizing the relationship. And maybe if you keep compromise in the forefront, that other person may not feel, you may be able to clear the air without them feeling as if you're judging them or creating an offensive atmosphere. Now, for some of you, this is a card of temptation. It's a card about excess, going overboard, not paying attention to being balanced in your expression. And in that case, it could be that you find yourself stuck in situations or dealing with people that on some level is wrong for you. This is not a situation where you're unaware. You actually know that it's not good for you, but you're trying to convince yourself otherwise. In which case, this is a bad habit for you, a bad relationship, a habit that you're partaking in, and you're just making it an excuse and taking yourself for granted in some way. So the one way that you deal with that, it could be by if you don't direct your energy in a constructive manner, that energy could turn back on you, and you find yourself dealing with some annoying illnesses this week, or it may be difficult for you to relax. So again, this could be a week where you're very distracted. You could be acting on impulse and not really listening to your intuition. Now, maybe you're trying to escape a situation or, deal with it by being excessive. Maybe you're eating too much, drinking too much, spending too much. But if that's the case, this is going to be a behavior that you regret. It could be that you're just putting too much on yourself. Your standard for self is just way too high. And really, you're the only one with those expectations. Now, the last week you have the World card. So something has reached a conclusion. Maybe you've gotten a triumph over some kind of issue that you've had, or you attain a goal, or you feel a sense of fulfillment in some way. Could be there's a focus on your physical and emotional health, especially if you've been excessive. This is a card of no restrictions, no limitations. The world is your oyster. So you may be thinking of how you can expand your horizons in some way, and you've got a lot of enthusiasm about how you're going about doing that. So this week you get a second chance. This is the World card is the end of some cycle. So you're getting to start over and make a fresh start. So if you had been doing something that was excessive or detrimental, this could be a week where you decide you're going to break some bad habits, some emotional dependencies, because you realize that they're not good for you. So this is a great time for you to start over, start a new job, start a new attitude, start a new diet, start a new relationship. And if you were able to make some compromises this past month and clear the air, get some things out on the table, it could be that you're moving forward because you have this, you're coming from this place of forgiveness. You're accepting other people, and you're accepting the forgiveness of other people. You're forgiving yourself about situations, and so you're going to be happier as a result. So this week you can be a self-motivated, you can be a self-starter, and one or more fortunate business connections, social connections, or romantic relationships or opportunities could cross your path. You're going to find a new conviction about upholding any changes you make, any new resolutions, and you're going to enjoy your life because you feel better about yourself and what you're doing. So because you feel so great about where you're headed, this is going to allow you to convince other people to see things your way. Even if those people have been difficult, they've been against you, you're going to be able to achieve your ends in a more peaceful and diplomatic manner this week. So you, just by having this positive outlook and putting out this positive energy, you're actually going to manifest opportunity and have it come to you just simply by being who you are. So if you've had any kind of issues or problems in the past, this could be a week where you overcome those obstacles. Now, for some of you, again, it's going to be very challenging for you to launch yourself in a better direction, and in which case you could fall back on some bad habits, and maybe you're just stuck in this rut. So be careful about what your motivation is. Your heart and your intention has to be in the right place, because if it's not, no matter how much effort you put forth, it's not going to produce the results that you want. So again, this is another warning about guarding yourself against the temptation to overextend yourself in ways with regard to your budget or your behavior, or pushing emotional boundaries. Because if you are, trying to cut corners or being calculating in your approach, you're going to make other people uncomfortable. So this is a week where your enthusiasm about a situation is going to be tested, and taking a realistic approach is going to be key for reaching your goals and making you feel more alive in the process. Now, the underlying energy is the Seven of Wands. So whatever this month, you're trying to gain an advantage in some way, and you're acting with conviction. You're trying to stand your ground. So this is a card about, maintaining your position in a struggle, or making something happen, or feeling as if you are under siege in some way. So it could be that you are taking some risk this month. Maybe you are feeling very daring, or you know that you have some obstacles that have to be overcome. Maybe you're standing up for yourself against an enemy, an opponent. Matters are going to come to a head this month for you. So this is about either trying to gain that advantage, and maybe you're not quite on sure footing as of yet. Maybe you're rallying other people around you. Maybe you're being a leader. So this month you're being urged to be adaptable, flexible, and again you have the card of compromise and moderation. So the more flexible you are in your dealings with other people, in your ability to accommodate situations, the easier it will be for you. Even if you're faced with something upsetting, the easier it'll be for you to overcome that and move on. So this is going to be a month where, you're going to have some setbacks or challenges to deal with, but also some opportunities are going to cross your path. So this is a month for you to be very persistent about reaching your goals, even if they're small goals. Be realistic and persistent in your efforts. So you could find that other people are looking to you. This is rallying the troops, maybe being a leader, calling action from other people. So other people could be seeking your advice or your assistance. And because they are, again, the flexibility is required. You're having to change your priorities, move your agenda around. And if you're able to be open and deal with people in a way where they don't feel uncomfortable or that you're judging them or pushing, this non-threatening approach that you're going to take will inspire other people to work with you and work harder and to achieve your own goals and your interests. So the key is persistence, standing your ground, but being diplomatic and knowing when to compromise when it's necessary. For some of you, you are going to find yourself in no-win situations where it doesn't matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, either you can't please another person or they can't please you. And the key factor will be this unyielding attitude. So be careful that you don't take your frustrations out on the wrong people. This is a month for you to think carefully. You may need to reconsider your position about something. It could be for you this month that something from the past is reaching a conclusion, and there's difficulty in some way in coming to a compromise where everybody is happy. So while it's important for you to stand your ground, if you feel you're right and justified, be open to other people and their opinions and what they're feeling. And you may decide to give a little bit on something, or depending on the way you handle things and your outlook, you may be able to convince another person to give on something, that to find a middle ground where you both can move forward. Okay, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I would greatly appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and kind comments. For those of you who have already offered your support, please know that I am especially grateful to you. Have a wonderful July, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.